Welcome, Cancer soul. The one who hurt you is now facing the consequences, and you don't have to lift a finger. Do you want to know why? Because karma misses no one, and for a soul like Cancer, who loves with their entire heart, who nurtures more than they ever receive, the universe always saves a gift for you at the exact moment your soul is ready. In today's reading, you'll learn what is happening to those who once betrayed you. You'll understand why the karmic cycle is closing, why an inner rebirth is opening, and why this time, peace will never leave you again. But before karma reaches them, there's something you must do first. Declare your right to protect yourself. Because if you don't stand up for your heart, who will do it for you, dear Cancer? To activate the healing energy from this message, gently write in the comments, "I allow myself to be safe." This small gesture is a symbolic way to wrap protective energy around you, and also a way to help me transmit the light of this message to all the souls of this beautiful zodiac sign. Because Cancer deserves to be cherished, healed, and heard, not just once, but forever. We often think kindness is strength. But for Cancer, nurturing kindness often becomes an invisible cloak that allows others to easily cross boundaries. You don't say no, you don't push back, you just softly smile, step back, and keep giving, even when your soul is exhausted. Perhaps in the subconscious of many Cancers, love is a spiritual mission. You don't love just with your heart, but with faith, healing, compassion, and hope. You give without expecting anything in return. But have you ever asked yourself if they never learned to appreciate a heart like yours? Did your compassion really heal anything, or did it just make you disappear? In the thousands of times I've read for Cancer souls through Cancer Love Tarot readings, one image keeps appearing. A beautiful, nurturing heart, but used too many times. Eyes that once held light, now clouded by tears. A person who stays, even though they know they should leave. And then the question arises, when will karma arrive? The answer is, karma begins the moment you choose yourself, the moment you pause and say aloud, "I no longer allow anyone to hurt me." You know, the hardest thing for Cancer isn't forgiveness, it's stopping. It's letting go of something you once saw as everything. It's turning away from someone your heart still loves. It's accepting that love doesn't always mean staying. And that's the lesson Cancer's karmic relationships always bring. Karmic relationships don't come to make you happy forever. They come like storms, quiet, deep, chaotic, to awaken you every time you endure. Instead of speaking up, every time you sacrifice and receive no recognition, every time you forgive when you should have walked away. You're learning self-worth, learning boundaries, learning to say no to what hurts you. Cancer loves deeply, but because of that, you often become the one who stays last in an unhealthy relationship. You don't leave. You hope. You try to fix. You carry the blame, someone else's blame, as if it were your destiny. And then you quietly dissolve like water. No accusations, no loud crying, just a fading of yourself in unseen cracks. But today is the day you change. Today, you don't have to carry karma alone anymore. Today, you stop. Just stop for a few seconds. Close your eyes and ask yourself, how many times have I forgiven just to keep someone who didn't keep me? That's not patience. That's abandoning yourself. And Cancer, you weren't born to live like that. In one Cancer Love Tarot reading today, the Chariot reversed appeared like a wake-up call. It didn't say you were wrong to love. It said you forgot to love yourself and to protect your own safe space. And that love, if it doesn't return to you first, will never be enough to nourish anyone else. You might be in a relationship where you always have to be strong, always have to understand them, always the one who endures, always the one who loves more. But true love doesn't make you shrink yourself. It doesn't ask you to sacrifice everything just to stay. It doesn't leave you crying in silence every night, wondering, am I loving the wrong way? This is what I want you to write or whisper as a soul affirmation. I no longer allow anyone to invade my emotional peace. I wasn't born to be an emotional dumping ground. I deserve to be loved and to be safe in love. I allow myself to be safe, and I will protect my emotional sanctuary with light and with truth. When you say these words, you are activating a completely new energy stream in your own karmic deck, Cancer. You don't need to wait for others to change. You just need to step out of the old loop where you keep nurturing, keep losing, and keep getting hurt. This is the turning point. The first shift marking your emotional awakening journey, when you decide to no longer carry everyone's emotions. When you choose to own your energy, instead of living by someone else's. You weren't born to be someone's emotional hospital. You were born to love and be loved in a healthy, gentle, lasting way. You can forgive, but you no longer accept. You can love, but you no longer erase yourself to be loved in return. You can stay, but only if that place doesn't cause you to slowly lose yourself. And if you feel like yourself in these words, please write in the comments, I have chosen my emotional sanctuary. This is not just a sentence. This is a signal sent to the universe to let karma know that you are ready. You've learned the lesson. Now it's time for others to learn from your absence. We often think karma is a punishment, but in truth, karma is balance. And Cancer, what is their karma? Tarot always shows that when you choose to stand up, karma will guide the other person to face what they need to confront. The one who hurt you will begin to disappear, not in a storm of anger, but in the stillness of your peace. A peace they cannot exist within if they are still unhealed. But why is a Cancer so easily taken advantage of? Why do you always become the safe place people come to and then leave? Don't skip the next part, because it's where you'll see the root cause and how to break it. Can you see it now? The one who hurt you will disappear. Karma is here, and your peace begins the moment you declare, I will no longer allow anyone to hurt me again. There are people who come to you not to love but to lean, but their leaning isn't sharing, it's unloading. They bring wounds, incompleteness, dark spaces in their soul, and they see in you a safe place to pour them out. Your heart becomes an invisible pillow that others cry into whenever the world feels too harsh. But then, when they feel better, you are no longer in their sight. That is not love. That is emotional exploitation disguised as a romantic connection. And Cancer, with your tender heart and healing instinct, almost always falls into that trap. In countless readings I've done, especially the Cancer karmic relationship spreads, one pattern keeps repeating. A Cancer gives everything time, nurturing kindness, patience, hope only to receive silence, withdrawal, emotional neglect. I call it the invisible one-sided love, where you think you're in a relationship, but you're the only one building it. The other person isn't a partner, they're a receiver. You do everything. You initiate care, initiate connection, initiate apologies, initiate sacrifice. And strangely, you feel guilty for stopping, for loving yourself, for saying, I deserve to be loved and nurtured in a kind way too. Cancer is the zodiac of compassion, empathy, and merging. But because of that, you often dissolve into others to the point you forget your own boundaries. When you love, you don't just give, you become the other person. You endure because you believe you're strong. You forgive because you think they deserve another chance. You stay because you think love means waiting. But who's staying for you? There's one thing I learned in my own healing journey, and it's what I want to offer you. Not everyone who receives love knows how to love back. Some people only know how to take, and when there's nothing left to take, they leave. Because you're nurturing, they think you don't get tired. Because you're gentle, they think you don't get hurt. Because you stay silent, they think you're okay. But what's the truth? You're tired, you're hurt, you cry, and you stay silent because you're too used to no one truly listening. I once pulled the Four of Wands reversed in a Cancer love tarot, reading the image of an unstable home, an emotional foundation crumbling. No one helping, no one asking. It's the symbol of a Cancer bearing the load of a relationship that's no longer balanced. And the question I always ask the querent is, why are you the only one carrying it all? Love, if it's real, will never put you in a place where you have to strain your emotional being. It will never ask you to lose yourself just to receive a fragment of warmth. And if you're the only one keeping the light on, that's not love. That is deliberate or unconscious emotional occupation. The issue isn't who the other person is. It's why did you allow it to continue? Maybe because you believe in healing. Maybe because you believe in karma, that if you're kind, you'll receive something good. But karma doesn't operate through endurance. Karma works through awareness. And when you realize you're being drained in an unfair connection, that's when karma starts to shift. That's when you need to say, enough. You don't have to shout, you don't have to fight. Just one small sentence in your heart. I no longer allow my nurturing gentleness to be taken for granted. They didn't leave because you weren't good enough. They left because they couldn't continue to exploit you once you became aware. And sometimes their disappearance is a miracle in disguise. Pause for a few seconds and ask yourself, am I in a relationship or am I just a background for someone else's emotional recovery? If the answer makes you swallow hard, then maybe it's time to step out of the victim role and step into the role of a soul that has learned self-respect. Self-respect is not pride. Self-respect is knowing that love is not self-erasure. It's when you love and still remain whole. It's when you stop at the right moment and let karma teach what you no longer want to teach through your sacrifice. The universe doesn't reward those who suffer the best. The universe sends real love to those who know when to stop when the heart begins to bleed. And if you've ever been in such a relationship, I invite you to write one short sentence below this video. I choose myself not to reject the other person, but to affirm that you deserve to be loved the way you once loved others. Cancer, your peace begins the moment you say, enough. Don't wait for karma to punish someone for you to feel relief. Karma doesn't come for revenge. Karma comes to reveal the truth. And once you've learned your lesson, karma will find the other person in the way they least expect. You don't need to look back. You don't need to ask, do they still think about me now? You just need to keep moving forward, because ahead lies a completely different chapter. And in that chapter, you no longer love as the healer. You love as a whole soul. Walk with me into part 3, where karma knocks at the door and the truth begins to speak. Some karmic consequences don't come with thunder. They come in silence, soft as a breath, but enough to make someone's entire inner world collapse. Karma for Cancer doesn't come to seek revenge. It comes to cleanse, to balance, and to make that soul face exactly what they once planted. No noise, no warning, no need for you to scream or explain. Because when you are silent, when you withdraw your energy from them, the universe does the rest. Have you ever heard of the karmic loop? It's a subtle cycle where the one who hurt you keeps encountering versions of themselves. They are abandoned the way they abandoned you. They are misunderstood the way they once made you suffocate. They search for love and only find emptiness. They look back and see you are no longer there. In the Cancer, what is their karma tarot readings? I often see one haunting image, someone looking at the place where you used to be and suddenly realizing that absence is the greatest pain of their life, not because you disappeared, but because they thought you'd never leave. And when you truly walked away, they began to understand. Some hearts, once lost, are never found again. And you, dear Cancer, you don't need revenge. You just need to walk away. Just choose yourself. Just say, I am enough. That's when karma opens the door to its classroom. There's a life lesson I want to carve deeply into your heart today. Revenge never sets you free, but watching someone realize their own lesson in silence, that is true justice. And karma, it doesn't come to satisfy you. It's not a sentence, it's the truth, and the truth always finds its way back. Have you ever silently withdrawn and then one day heard they fell apart in another relationship? You didn't have to say a word, and they started to understand who they should never have lost. If you've ever heard something, just a small piece of news that they are facing what you once endured, that's a sign that karma has begun its work. And if that has happened to you, leave a comment below. I saw it, and I am at peace. Because when you write that, you're not just healing yourself. You are speaking for so many other Cancer souls silently suffering like you. Don't expect karma to be loud, because sometimes the emptiness inside someone is the heaviest lesson of all. You don't need to turn back to see if they regret it. You just need to keep going and let the universe handle the rest. Karma doesn't need to be seen to exist, just like true love. It doesn't need to be proven in words. Pause for a few seconds. Imagine one day you walk on a new path, and the one who hurt you can only watch from afar. Can't call your name, no longer holds power, because you've closed the door you once left open for too long. And that is how the one who hurt you will disappear, not with noise, but with the growing empty spaces within themselves. Karma is here, and your peace has already begun. And when karma starts its work, that is also the moment you are given a gift. Not everyone can hold inner peace, but how do you receive that peace when you're used to living in pain? How do you not look back? How do you not ask again, what if they change? How do you know this time peace is real and you deserve it? Come with me to part 4, where we learn to step into a new quiet, a space only for souls who have passed their karmic lessons. There is a kind of peace not when they return to apologize, but when you no longer wait for that, no longer hope they understand, no longer need them to see you with regretful eyes. You just let go gently, completely. And then something happens quietly, yet strangely. You realize your heart is still beating and life never stopped. That is the moment true peace begins. No more hoping for someone to come heal you. No more trying to prove you are worthy of love. Just you, walking away from old illusions and returning to yourself. I've seen this many times in Cancer Love Tarot Today readings. Some ask me, when will they come back? Do they regret it? But when I read the cards, the energy is no longer with them. It rests entirely in you. And the message the cards always bring is, you are already enough. Peace lies in your hands, not theirs. Cancer is a soul of love, but also a soul of sacrifice. And because you've sacrificed too much, sometimes you forget you too deserve to be loved and cared for. But today, something new begins. You learn to understand yourself instead of waiting for someone to understand you. You are no longer the one left behind. You are the one who chose to leave the cycle of pain. You are the one who said, I choose myself. And that is the most beautiful thing you have ever done for yourself. Forgiveness is not a declaration that the other person was right. Forgiveness is a message to yourself. I choose relief. I don't want to carry anger anymore. I no longer want to carry pain that never belonged to me. And miraculously, when you let go of resentment, your hands are free to receive better things. The universe is ready to send. Love is living energy, and that energy always flows toward where true peace exists. The more peaceful you are, the more you become a magnet for the right one. Have you ever walked through a long day only to realize you no longer need a message from them? You're still okay, you're still alive, and that's the most beautiful victory, one that needs no validation. If you're feeling like you're touching even a tiny part of that peace, write this down. I'm no longer waiting for someone to understand me. I'm learning to understand myself, because you're not alone. There are many other Cancer souls quietly walking that same path. And if you look closely, you will see a light beginning to flicker at the end of that road, not dazzling, but warm enough, gentle enough that you no longer feel cold. You see, the one who hurt you has started to fade. Karma has arrived, and peace is no longer far away. Cancer, your peace begins now. There is one belief I always keep as my compass. No one can break you when you no longer allow anyone to touch your unhealed wounds. Healing does not come from someone returning. It comes from you choosing to stand by yourself. Take a deep breath and imagine a life without anger, bitterness, or longing for explanations. Just you and the quiet softness enough to bring a smile for no reason. And then, strangely enough, when you touch that peace, another door opens a new future, a new connection, a new person not coming to fill the void but to walk with you. A love not built from broken pieces, but from growth, clarity, and awakening. You've stopped shouting to be loved, and you've begun listening to yourself to know what real love is. Walk with me into part 5, the final part of this journey, where a new person is approaching, and this time, love will be completely different. When karma is complete, when the anger in your heart no longer echoes, when you no longer look back waiting for an apology. That is also the moment another door quietly opens. No fireworks, no promises, just a gentle breeze, almost imperceptible, passing through your consciousness, enough for you to realize someone is coming not to save you, not to replace the old one, but to walk beside you in a completely new kind of love, a love that doesn't hurt your gentle heart. I once did a tarot reading for a Cancer friend after a painful journey. The Two of Cups appeared, but it didn't come after a fiery reunion. It came after a long time she spent learning to be alone, healing herself, and finally letting go of what didn't belong to her anymore. The Two of Cups doesn't speak of explosive passion. It speaks of resonance, of two souls who have gone far enough, long enough, lost enough to know how to love without hurting each other anymore. This love doesn't come to make you lose sleep or feel confused and restless. This love comes to help you sleep better, to help you feel peace just in someone's quiet presence. You don't need someone to fill you. You just need someone who doesn't drain your emotional energy. Real love doesn't rush. It doesn't come when you're still secretly hoping for the old one to return. It comes when you stop proving and start accepting yourself. Because at that moment, the energy you emit is an invitation for a soul of the same frequency. No more games, no more drama, no more who loves more, just presence, truth, and gratitude for finding each other after all. Have you ever met someone who didn't make your heart race but made your soul still? Who didn't make you tremble but made you feel safe just with their eyes? If not yet, maybe they are on their way. If you're feeling that something is changing within you, if you feel your heart softening, getting lighter, less longing, that is the sign. Love never comes to someone who isn't ready. It arrives when you've learned how to love yourself. And if you feel that, write down a small commitment. This time, I choose love that nurtures me and doesn't hurt my peace. The universe will hear it, and that person, the one whose soul resonates with yours, will step in not too soon, not too late, but exactly when your soul is ready. That's why the one who hurt you will disappear. Karma has arrived, and now your peace becomes a garden where new love can bloom. Remember the star card, the light after the fall? If this card appears in your Cancer Love Tarot today, it's not just a prophecy, it's a message from the universe. You've endured enough. Now is the time you are loved without sacrificing your nurturing nature. And it's true, real love doesn't come to save you. It arrives when you've saved yourself. Just pause for a beat. Imagine one day you wake up beside someone and feel your heart ease, just because they've never made you question whether you're enough. No grand gestures, no flashy words, just presence. And that presence makes you realize you've arrived at the place you once thought didn't exist. And now, as the old person has withdrawn, as karma has fulfilled its course, as peace begins and a new soul is approaching, there's only one last thing you need to remember: that this journey isn't just about love, but about the awakening of yourself. Step into the ending, where everything is seen again, and you realize who you've become after all that has passed. If you've come this far with me, take a moment and look back at the journey you've just walked. From the pain of heartbreak to the moment of awakening, from the silence of karma to the instant you touched peace, from old tears to new smiles with no reason needed. You've walked a long path not to find someone, but to find yourself again. And now you are no longer the Cancer of the past. You are the version who knows how to say no, how to let go, how to love yourself without guilt. You didn't just survive the pain, you were reborn from within the cracks. If these words touch you, if you feel a part of your heart has just been seen, leave a message so I know you're ready to enter the new chapter. And if you want to walk with me in the next journeys, hit subscribe so every new message is a reminder that you deserve a love that nurtures your peace. Cancer, your peace has begun. You're not healing anymore. You're blooming.